Good afternoon, everyone. We'll start with the next topic, that is ogive. So before that, we'll just do a recap on frequency polygon. How to construct a frequency polygon. Abhilash, can you
repeat the question?
How to construct a frequency polygon? What are the steps involved in that?
Ma'am, you draw the graph with the...
Can you say a little more louder?
Hello?
I think the voice is very low. Okay.
Ma'am, how about now?
Yeah, now it's okay.
Okay. So for frequency polygon, you have to draw the graph with the... you have to draw the histogram first. And then you have to mark the middle point of the topmost part of the rectangle. And after marking all the parts, you have to connect the dots from the origin to the consecutive points.
Baseline. Okay, it should be connected with the baseline also. Okay. Then another thing which I told you, how to find median from that. How to find that? Rahul, can you say? How to get a median? Sorry.
Ma'am, mode, right?
Oh, yeah. Median is in ogive. How to get?
Ma'am, the highest
model class.
And the lower model class by 2.
Little more specific. How to get that? Who can say? How to get or how to derive mode graphically? Okay, just understand and tell me how it is.
Ma'am, we must join the top rightmost and the right consecutive.
Consecutive or top right point of the rectangle to the
next to it.
Preceding class. Okay.
Yes.
Then
leftmost
point of the model class with the left point of
Must
the
be
succeeding class. Then
Succeeding
what
class,
you have to do?
We will find the point will be intersecting.
There will be an intersection of these lines. Then where it is joining, from there to draw a line to which axis? X axis. You will be getting the value of mode here. Okay. So next is about ogive now. I told you the how to find out the mode, made you to do the frequency curve and frequency polygon also. What is the difference between frequency curve and frequency polygon? Anish, can you say what is the difference between frequency curve and frequency polygon? Anish, do you know the answer? Okay, Abhijit. No. Sanam, do you know the answer? What is the difference between a frequency polygon? Yes or no? No.
No.
Who can say?
Ma'am, it is obtained by drawing smooth freehand curve as possibly as near frequency curve.
Frequency curve is obtained by freehand drawing. Frequency polygon, how it is?
As closely as
it is
we join the
with the straight lines. We join with the straight lines. This is how you get the frequency curve and frequency polygon. Sanam, you got the difference? You didn't get now?
It
You
was
didn't?
not clear.
So what about once more, one person can repeat. Abhilash, can you repeat what is the difference between frequency curve and frequency polygon? One minute. Sanam, whether you were there in the class when I discussed frequency polygon? No. And frequency curve also? No.
No, my last class was not there.
Last class, I think both the classes you were not there.
No, ma'am, one class I was there.
So that there only you might have done frequency polygon.
No, ma'am, I don't remember. No.
Just 1 minute, I'll show you how it is. Whether you have done this.
Yes.
This is, what is the name of this? What is it? This is frequency. Don't know what it is, but you have done. Okay. Rahul, what is this?
Frequency polygon.
Frequency polygon. So what is this? What are the steps involved in this? You have to draw the histogram, find the midpoints of all the histogram, join that, you will be getting, join with a straight line, you will be getting the frequency polygon. And the first and last histogram, you have to, the midpoint should be joined with the baseline with a dotted line. You will be getting the frequency polygon. Okay. How are you getting the frequency curve? Instead of joining with a straight line, you are just joining like this with a smooth curve. You will be getting, you will be getting the frequency curve. Okay. Only difference is what? Same way, but frequency polygon will be joining with a straight line. The other one will be joining with the smooth freehand drawing. Then that we will be calling it as frequency curve. This is the difference. Sanam, understood? Okay. Next one is ogive. It is also known as cumulative frequency curve. Okay. The next type of diagrammatic graphical representation is ogive, or it is also known as cumulative frequency curve. Why do we call it as cumulative frequency? Because we are adding up the frequencies for getting the ogive, for drawing the ogive. Because of this reason, we call it as cumulative frequency curve. Now it is obtained. How are we obtaining this? Cumulative frequencies we will be drawing on, or we will be plotting on y-axis, and the class limits we are plotting on x-axis. Okay, so just understand, y-axis, which one we are plotting? What are we plotting on the y-axis?
Class limit.
Frequencies. Frequencies we are plotting. Then class limits we are plotting on the which axis? X-axis. Okay. Now, there are two types of cumulative frequencies. One is less than type, another one is more than type. I will show you in the example, then you will understand what do you mean by this less than type and more than type. So, two types of cumulative frequency, less than type and more than type. Okay, so because of these two types of cumulative frequency, you will be getting two ogives for one distribution. For a grouped distribution, for a grouped frequency distribution, you will be getting two ogives. For less than ogive, just keep this in your mind. For less than ogive, whenever we are marking less than ogive, we have to use the upper limit of the class interval. Okay, once more listen. When we are using less than ogive, when we are constructing less than ogive, what we have to use? The upper limit of the class interval we have to use. Okay. For more than ogive, when we are constructing more than ogive, you have to use, or you have to plot that against the lower limit of the class interval. Cumulative frequency curve will be constructed. How we are constructing, the frequencies will be on the y-axis and the class limits will be on the x-axis. There are two types of cumulative frequencies, less than type and more than type, or less than ogive or more than ogive. Okay. Now, less than ogive, when we are marking the frequency, which class limit we are using? Which class limit are we using?
Can you repeat the question again?
For less than ogive, we have to mark the frequency. Okay. For that, we have to use one class limit. Which class limit we have to use?
Upper limit.
Upper limit of the class interval. Class limit in the sense upper limit and lower limit. In that, we have to use upper limit for the construction of less than ogive. Now, more than ogive, which limit we have to use?
Lower limit.
Lower limit we have to use. Okay, this you keep it in your mind. Don't make mistakes in this. Next one. Here, you can see a frequency distribution is given. Yes. This is the class interval. This is the frequency. Okay. Class interval and this is the frequency. Now, less than ogive, how are we getting? Less than in the sense, here we are taking which class interval we have to take? Which class limit we have to take?
Upper class.
Upper limit. So you can see the first one, upper limit. So less than, the term is less than. So less than 20, how many are coming? Less than 20, how many are coming? 6 are coming. Okay. Now next category, less than 40. Less than 40, how many are coming? So these two will come. 6 plus 5. Got it? So less than ogive, less than 40. 40, below 40, how many are there? So here 6 plus 5, you got 11. Got it? Next, less than 60. Less than 60 means these three will come. Below 60, how many students are there? So all these three things together, you will be getting 44. Okay. The same way, you can see less than 80, less than 100. So when you are seeing less than 80, all these things should be taken. Less than 100 means everything should be taken. Understood, everyone? Is there any difficulty in this?
No.
All of you got it?
No.
Okay. So let's. Huh?
Nothing.
You tell. Then only I can explain again.
I said I got it. I said.
Okay. So here, less than 20, less than ogive, when we are constructing, the first thing what we have to take into account, that is the class limit. Which class limit we have to take? That is upper limit. Okay. Then less than 20, less than 40, all the upper limits we are taking here. Okay. And what number is coming below that, we have put it. Now more than, next one, more than 0. We are taking now here the lower limit. Okay. So lower limit in the sense more than 0. You know that how many are coming? More than 0, all the numbers will come. That is this one we can see that total it can come here. Okay. Now more than 20. How many numbers are coming? More than 20. So what we have to do? From the 64, what you have to reduce?
6.
6 you have to reduce. So 58 you got. More than 20. That means what is included in 0 to 20 that you have to reduce from the total. Okay. So more than 20, how many are there? You got 58. More than 40. So now we have to take only from this to this. Right? So how much you are getting? 53. Because more than 40, we are not including these two. Okay, so we are taking only this. So that is 14 plus 6, 20, 20 plus 33, that is 53. So more than 40 you got, more than 60. So that we are not taking this. We are taking only this here, 20. More than 80, only 6 are there. So this you got it, all of you, right? Next one, we are constructing the ogive here. Okay, so one important point you can see, less than ogive is never decreasing. That you see here, is it decreasing? It is never decreasing. Sorry, this one. Okay, it is never decreasing. What about more than? Is it increasing? This part if you see, is it increasing? It is never increasing. So that point, keep it in your mind. Less than ogive is never decreasing, because that less than term, always we have a tendency to think that decreasing. Okay, so less than ogive is never decreasing, more than ogive is never increasing. Now, it is marked, whatever is given, it is marked here. Here the first category, that is 20, right? Less than ogive. Here, less than 20, it is 6. So it is marked here 20. For 20, 20 is given here. 6 is marked. Okay. Then for 30, not for 30. For less than 40, it is 11. It is marked. Here, the second one, it is marked. Like that, we have plotted the lines here. Okay. Then join everything. You with a straight line, you will be getting less than ogive. Got it, everyone? Yes. The same way we are plotting the more than ogive. You know that more than 0, 64. So this is here, it is marked. More than 0, it is 64. Then like that, subsequent points are marked here. You got another one curve for more than ogive. Till here, everybody understood? This we can plot on one graph also. Same graph also we can plot, or separate. If they have asked you to draw or construct the less than ogive and more than ogive separate, you can do the construction in this manner. Otherwise, you can do the construction together. Okay. Now, so obtaining more than ogive, less than ogive, you got it. Now from this, we can find median. The previous one, I told you how can we get mode graphically. The same way, from this, we can get median. How can we get? I will tell you. By using ogives, we can get the median. What we have to do, these two ogives should be drawn on a same graph. There will be a point of intersection, like one will be like this, another one will be like this. Okay, there will be a point of intersection. From there, you draw a perpendicular line to x-axis. That point where this line meets this x-axis, that is the median. Okay. Now, for example, the previous one, here more than ogive is there. Another one less than ogive is here. Just time being, just understand this is the less than ogive. Where it is meeting, you can see that there you draw a perpendicular line this way to the x-axis. So there is the median. Understood, everyone? Any difficulty in this? All of you got it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Roseanne, can you tell how can we obtain median from ogive? Roseanne. How can we obtain median from ogive? Roseanne, are you there? If you don't know, please tell. Akshay, what about you?
Of intersection where less than or ogive.
Okay, from there you get, at the point of intersection you get?
Median.
Huh?
Median.
Your voice is breaking. Pavitra, can you tell? Pavitra. Bazuri. Those who are not now responding, I will just remove you people. That's better. Right? Either say you didn't understand, or if you understood, please tell. Sayujia, can you tell? Here, where is the median which I have drawn? Sayujia.
Intersecting point.
Is it at the intersection? Pranav?
From perpendicular to x-axis.
At the point of, this is what point of intersection. From here, draw a perpendicular line towards the x-axis. Where it is touching that perpendicular line on the x-axis, that there lies the median. Everyone, please understand. Okay. Now, how can we construct ogive from a frequency distribution? How can we construct the less than ogive? Without clearing, I don't want to go to the next topic. Yes. How can we construct less than ogive from a frequency distribution, or what are the steps involved in the construction of less than ogive? Amal, do you know what is the first thing you have to take it? No. Alan? Alan?
Upper limit.
What is it?
Upper limit, by upper limit of.
Mark the upper limit where? On the x-axis. Then how did you get that frequencies? I will show the previous slide. I want everyone to look at this and learn how it is and tell me how to construct a less than ogive and more than ogive. What all things, what are the steps involved in that? Here, one important point is given when we are constructing which class limit we have to take. So that is the first thing. Here we have taken the class limits. Amal, can you, sorry, Anish, can you tell now?
Ma'am, first we have to check the first upper limit. How many number of students are there below 20?
20, okay. Then?
And in the next one, we have to check how many students are there below 40.
Below 40. So that means all together below 40, including that 20 also will come in this. So 6 plus 5, you will be getting 11. Okay. Then like that, all the upper limit you have taken. Okay. Then That should be plotted on a graph paper. You will be getting less than ogive. More than ogive, how to take, which one to take? Akshay? Which class
We
limit should
take the lower limit.
Lower limit and go on reducing here. Okay, more than 0, the total frequency will come. And more than 20, you can go on reducing. Which number is there below 20? If you reduce, you will be getting more than 20. How many are there? Like that, go on reducing, you will be getting. So less than ogive is never decreasing and more than ogive is never increasing. You got more than ogive and less than ogive. To get the median, what you have to do, join the more than ogive and the less than ogive, and somewhere it is joining, you can see there. From there, you have to draw a line towards the x-axis, and what is marked there, that will be the median. Okay, everyone. Next period, I'll make you to do this one sum or one construction. So you should be able to do that. So this will be given to you in the next period. Okay. And before that, you can we can have the seminar now. So to start with, who is doing? Abhilash?
Ma'am, Sanam is doing.
Sanam, okay.
One second. For example, arranging school books in a certain order, it becomes easier to handle them. Classification according to subjects becomes a group or class.
Okay.
Raw data, unclassified data, which is highly disorganized, is called raw data. Often large and cumbersome, it is often large and cumbersome to handle. Drawing meaningful conclusions is a tedious task because they don't yield a statistical method easily. Therefore, proper organization and presentation of such data is needed before any systematic statistical analysis is undertaken. After collecting data, the next step is to organize and present them in a classified form. For example, suppose you want to know the performance of students in English and have collected data on marks in English of 100 students. The data collected is raw or unclassified data. Now, to find out the highest marks in English, you have to arrange them in ascending or descending order, which is a tedious task. Difficulty would increase if it was 1,000 students. Therefore, it's a tedious task to pull information from a large unclassified data. So, raw data are summarized and made comprehensible by classification. When facts of similar characteristics are placed in the same class,
it will be easy. What happened? Sanam?
Okay. Raw data are summarized. It enables one to locate them easily and make comparison. And draw inferences without any difficulty. For example, raw data of census is a large and fragmented. It's almost impossible to draw any meaningful conclusions from them. But when the data is classified according to gender, education, marital status, occupation, etc., the structure and nature of the population is easily understood. Raw data, marital status, sorry. Raw data consists of observation variables. Looking back at the former example of raw data of 100 students in English, how do we make sense of the marks, like how the students have performed or have not passed? How can we classify the data? How can we classify the data depends upon the purpose we have in mind. In this case, the teacher wishes to understand in some depth how the students performed. She would she probably would have chosen to construct the frequency distribution.
Who is the next one? Done? Or it is
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, Sandra.
Sandra, is she available? No.
She was here. So I'm going to present a seminar on what is frequency distribution and how to prepare a frequency distribution. So let's start with what is a frequency distribution. So frequency distribution is a comprehensive way to classify quantitative variables, meaning variables that can be expressed in the form of numbers. And it is basically the short form is basically you can classify the values in the form of how frequent they are occurring in an observation. So frequency distribution has the frequency distribution table is bounded by class limits, which are two ends of a class, and they have two parts, which is the lower limit and the upper limit. The lower limit is the lowest value of the class, and the upper limit is the highest value. An example for this is given here, that is 60 to 70. Here the 60 is the lower limit of this class and 70 is the upper limit. And class frequency means the number of values in a particular class. So here an example is given, that is marks of mathematics obtained by 100 students. So this is an unclassified data. You can't make much sense of this, but you classify this into frequency distribution. It is much more easier as it is given in class marks, which is shown how frequently it is occurring in these class marks. So here in 0 to 10, only one student has got this mark, and in 10 to 20, 8 students have scored this mark, ranging from 10 to 20. So this makes it easier to identify these data. And here for an example, 30 to 40, we find 7 values of marks from the raw data. So in this unclassified data given here, you can find 7 values, and here it is given 30 to 40, 7 students have got these marks. They are 30s, 37, 34, and so on. Class interval or class width is the difference between upper class limit and the lower class limit. So for the class of 60 to 70, the class interval is 10, meaning the difference or the gap between 60 to 70 is 10. And to find this is very easy, upper class minus the lower class, meaning 70 minus 60. And the another thing you have to note is the class midpoint. And for even this, we have a formula, which is the upper class limit plus the lower class limit by 2. And the raw data, and once we classify these data into frequency distribution for further calculations, if we need to further treat these numbers, you use it in the classified form. Frequency curve. So frequency curve is a graphical representation of the frequency distribution. An example is given here. This is basically the you basically plot the points of the classified data into a graphical form. There's nothing much to it. And we
just 1 minute, Abhilash, 1 minute.